Coming up on Sbu TV, St. Bonaventure is still waiting for a deal with the Castle properties, and the number of non-primary physicians in Cattaraugus County has dropped. Welcome to Sbu TV News. I'm Mike Spong.
And I'm Emily Lenihan.
The potential development of the former Castle properties could fall through in the next 4 months. I talked with a Bonaventure official to find out more. The agreement with core development and the Castle property across from the St. Bonaventure campus is set to expire in June. Bona official Brenda Snow said should time expire on the June deal, new options could be considered.
It depends what the situation is at the time and what we hear. We don't have a preconceived notion.
The Syracuse area developer did not return our phone calls. Now, should Bonaventure and Core not reach an agreement by the deadline, the school could face a huge bill to cover last year's demolition of the former restaurant and motel.
If in fact we do not close on the property and they don't end up purchasing it, then we will reimburse them for the demolition, because that would have been our cost anyway of owning the property.
And do we know how much that would have cost?
The demolition was in the neighborhood of $300,000.
Since the property is currently owned by the university, the school pays its taxes, which total nearly $70,000 a year. Plus, the school is paying a $100,000 mortgage. So is this still a good deal for the university?
Prior to entering this agreement with CORE, we spent some time evaluating a number of other potential uses for the land. And we looked at retirement home and residential and a number of other endeavors, and we really felt that this was the highest and best use of the land.
3 years ago, St. Bonaventure announced a concept for the property that included retail, restaurants, and possibly residential housing. According to Brenda Snow, St. Bonaventure is still waiting for that one big company to say yes.
For the economics of a development of a center like this work, they approach it with securing an anchor tenant or a large or a significant retail store.
As the days and months go by, the university still thinks CORE is the right company for the job.
We're optimistic. We're certainly extremely hopeful. We have the utmost confidence in CORE. They're in this business. They have successfully completed a number of centers all across New York State.
For Sbu TV, I'm Mike Spong. Sbu TV will update this story as the deadline approaches.
A new report reveals a decrease in non-primary physicians in Cattaraugus County. Kathleen Donnelly takes a closer look at the reasons why they may be leaving.
Residents of Cattaraugus County may be forced to cross county lines to receive medical attention. Between 2001 and 2005, 27% of non-primary care physicians have opted to leave Cattaraugus to practice elsewhere. There are many reasons why this decrease may have occurred.
It could range everything from compensation, how much they're getting paid, do they feel like they're getting paid, the value of the services they're providing, to lifestyle issues.
Unless they have family ties to the area, it's hard to draw them in.
The healthcare problem in Cattaraugus County could be due to the loss of non-primary physicians.
It certainly impacts, whether patients stay in the area or not, particularly for the specialists.
The residents of the county are being forced to either wait significant amounts of time to get in to see a doctor, or they're having to travel up to Buffalo or Rochester or over to Erie to get services.
For Sbu TV, I'm Kathleen Donnelly.
Cattaraugus County has seen a 21% drop in physicians compared to Chautauqua County's 18% since 2001.
The Hartford Courant and other media sources have reported 3 Bonaventure students have been questioned by Yukon police about a fatal hit-and-run that took place at the University of Connecticut. St. Bonaventure President Sister Margaret Carney sent a special notice to students and faculty about the hit-and-run accident. A Yukon police spokesman Thursday said he could not confirm that the news that 3 students had been questioned, but that the investigation was still open. Carly Wines, a Yukon freshman, was struck at 1:49 a.m. Saturday, January 20th, while crossing the road at a crosswalk on campus. She died 2 days later at a Hartford hospital. Yukon police announced they had seized the vehicle suspected in the accident. It was a gray 2004 Nissan Armada with front-end damage.
San Francisco Mayor Gavin Newsom is apologizing for a sex scandal that's rocking City Hall, and it's raising questions about his re-election campaign. Dan Simon has the story.
I want to make it clear that everything you've heard and read is true, and I am deeply sorry about that.
Mayor Gavin Newsom confirming the stunning report that he had an affair with the wife of his re-election campaign manager.
I've hurt someone I care deeply about, Alex Turk, his friends and family, and that is something that I have to live with and something that I am deeply sorry for.
The San Francisco Chronicle quotes sources as saying Newsom had a short-lived relationship with Ruby Rippy Turk, his appointment secretary, until last spring. The affair reportedly happening around the time Newsom was going through a divorce with his ex-wife, television host Kimberly Guilfoyle. Alex Turk was Newsom's deputy chief of staff until last September when he took over the mayor's re-election campaign. After his wife told him about the affair, he reportedly confronted Newsom, who was also his longtime friend, and resigned. The mayor didn't take questions, but did apologize to the city, his staff, and his family for what he called a personal lapse of judgment.
I am deeply sorry and am accountable for what has occurred and have now begun the process of reconciling it, and now will be working aggressively to advance our agenda in the city and to work hard to build again the trust and restore the trust that the people of San Francisco have afforded me.
St. Bonaventure smokers can't just light up anymore. Lindsay Dueringer has the story.
With the new university smoking policy, for some St. Bonaventure students, it's going to get a lot colder.
Installing this during the winter is the worst time they could possibly do it.
Smokers are now forced to stand further away from all on-campus buildings.
You used to be able to smoke here, but after recent university policies, you now have to stand 30 feet away from the building. So if you want to smoke, remember, bring your tape measure.
We asked smokers and non-smokers to give us their opinion on the new policy.
I think this new smoking policy is a little ridiculous. I mean, I live in a townhouse. I couldn't imagine being told to go smoke by my car as opposed to smoking right next to the door.
It's a good policy because whenever you would come out of a classroom or a building like Plasman or Murphy, you would just be encased in smoke from that's being blown out of smokers. And that would kill my lungs personally. I didn't really appreciate it.
Are they going to start drawing chalk lines outside the buildings to make sure you're 30 feet?
It's 30 feet away. It's only about 10 paces, which is not that difficult.
Although signs are posted on building doors, smokers are not taking them seriously. This could result in a fine up to $50.
I think it's a little extreme.
For Sbu TV, I'm Lindsay Dueringer.
The actual policy took effect February 1st.
A report released by the St. Bonaventure Admissions Office last week shows the number of students applying to SBU has increased, with the biology department leading the way.
This time last year, 96 potential students sought admission into the biology department. This year, that number has increased by 58 students.
The new science building is just one reason why more students may be applying to St. Bonaventure.
On that, I think simply any time an institution is building a new facility that conveys a sense of dynamism and so communicates to prospective students in a fairly basic way, yes, the sciences are active here. St. Bonaventure has partnered up with a number of graduate programs in the healthcare fields.
Bennington believes the new Franciscan healthcare admissions program is a major reason for the jump in interest. For Sbu TV, I'm Kelly Eschberger.
The report showed the number of applicants was also up significantly in the journalism school.
There are remnants of a hurricane season that never materialized. In preparation, Florida had tons of ice on hand. The good news, the Sunshine State was spared last year. The bad news, now they're in a kind of deep freeze, as John Zaraella reports.
The folks in the town of Mineola, not far from Orlando, don't have to buy ice.
I don't want to take anything excess that's going to go to waste. I just want to take what I could use, and I could use 10 bags in the freezer.
It's free, at least until it melts.
Hey, Ed, did you like playing with ice when you were a kid?
Mineola's mayor, David Yeager, is being charitable while also helping out Florida taxpayers. That's because for the last year, they've been paying $90,000 a month to store ice. The state has some 200 truckloads of ice to get rid of. On each truck, there are 22 pallets of ice, and on each pallet, some 360 bags. After 2 brutal hurricane seasons that saw even the president and his brother, then Florida's governor, handing out ice.
Can I give you some ice?
This past hurricane season, state officials were determined to have plenty on hand. Sounded like a great idea. Only one problem: no hurricanes hit. So now, before the ice goes bad, the state is giving it away to any municipality or nonprofit that wants it.
We're reaching the point where if we don't get people to take it, and we've had a few, not a lot, but a few people that have had some use for that, then what we'll do is let it go ahead and melt.
Which is exactly what's happening back in Mineola. The mayor ordered 15 truckloads. Some went to the residents, but most came here to a park. I was going to say we could stand here and watch the ice melt, but that's going to take a while, isn't it?
How much time do you have?
Drought has left the area bone dry, the water table low. The mayor's idea wasn't based on any science, just a thought.
I thought it was a great opportunity to let it seep into the aquifer, and in the big scheme of things, will 70,000 gallons do anything? Not truly, but it's my little helping hand.
As for the state, it's out of the ice business. Bottled water will be stockpiled instead. John Zaraella, CNN, Mineola, Florida.
We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Let's sit down for a second, okay, sweetie? Hey, Kayla, there's Mary from your class.
Hi, Mary. Hi, Kayla. Come and play.
Oh, sweetie. Why don't you go play with those kids over there?
Why?
Imagine the power of one voice. Find yours at freedomcenter.org.
The creator of your favorite treat could be eliminating its most harmful ingredient. Anna Bulszewicz has the story.
Trans fatty acids. They taste so good and increase the shelf life of many foods, but are quickly being eliminated from America's diet.
They not only have an impact with regard to your nutrition intake, but also your risk for cardiovascular disease, as well as some other types of diseases that are impacted by the type of fat that you consume.
Trans fat is made when manufacturers add hydrogen to vegetable oil, a process known as hydrogenation. The majority of trans fats can be found in snack foods, fried foods, and baked goods.
When that process happens, that chemical process happens, it turns those fats that normally would be a healthy fat into a non-healthy fat.
Beginning January 1st, 2006, the Food and Drug Administration requires food companies to list trans fat content separately on the nutrition facts label of all packaged foods.
If you look on the labels of the food ingredients as well as the amount, will tell you what it is that you're consuming. And it really affects everyone.
Mary shared some tips of caution to keep in mind as you shop.
What the FDA did allow is that the food companies could determine the portion size, the serving size, so to speak, and indicate, and if there were 0.5 grams or less of trans in a product for that serving size, they could say it had 0 trans in it.
In order to reduce your trans fat intake, Mary offered some healthier alternatives.
Fish, chicken, lean beef, lean ham, those kinds of choices as opposed to sausage and chicken wings and high-fat items.
So next time you go to grab a snack, you may want to turn around and check the back. With Sbu TV, I'm Anna Bulszewicz.
New York City was the nation's first city to ban trans fats. starting in July 2008.
Last week, Sbu TV's Jessica Ansuini reported about how much money the city of Olean makes from its parking meters downtown. This week, she talked to local business owners to get their opinions on the meters.
It's only you and me, and we just disagree.
Not every downtown Olean business owner is singing the same tune. Parking meters sit outside many storefronts, and some merchants see them as a burden.
I think they kill downtown Olean.
Others feel like the parking meters are the lesser of the two evils.
Do need the parking meters, and I'm a strong supporter for that.
Don Pfeiffer of Don's Music Store feels the parking meters conflict with his students' music lessons.
They'll put money in the meter, kid come into the store, realize they're in here longer than what they thought. By the time they get out of here or go back out or think about it, then they have a ticket.
Business owners in downtown Olean may have differing opinions when it comes to the parking meters. However, if they weren't outside their stores, would their customers be getting front row parking?
If we pull the meters, the employees are going to park out front. I don't care what anyone they, and it may not be your employees. It may be your competition's employees that are going to park in front of your building.
It seems the meters are a fact of life, but some businessmen still stick to their opinions.
I understand that without the meters there would be the concern for downtown employees to take all the parking, and then there would be no parking for customers, but I think downtown merchants can police the front of their own store.
For Sbu TV, I'm Jessica Ansuini.
The city of Olean does not plan on getting rid of the parking meters anytime soon.
Winter weather conditions make whiteouts, and being stuck in a storm a real possibility. I decided to find out how to be prepared for a winter emergency. Since home safety is a priority for every family, the American Red Cross has a 3-point plan on how to weather a storm.
Talking to people in your household about what their role is going to be if there's some kind of emergency. Are you going to meet at a certain spot? Like, what if there's some kind of emergency and everyone isn't home?
Next, have an emergency kit ready.
That would involve things like flashlights, maybe extra blankets if the power's going to go out and your heating's not going to be working. Maybe it's an alternative way of heating the home, like maybe there's a fireplace or a wood-burning stove.
Enrolling in a safety course is a good idea too.
Get trained, take CPR, take first aid, learn that kind of stuff in case there is an emergency. You can help out in any kind of medical things that happen. Gives you confidence and stuff to not freak out when accidents are happening.
When shopping for your emergency kit, it's also important to remember a 3-day supply of water, non-perishable foods, and if there's baby in the house, special food and supplies. For more information, visit www.preparewny.org. Next week, I'll look at how to prepare for winter on the road by preparing a car emergency kit.
Are more African American women dying of cancer because race plays a role in their treatment? New findings show black women are 18% more likely to die of cancer than white women. And now some are raising questions about the connection between cancer care and the color of a patient's skin. Medical correspondent Elizabeth Cohn has more.
Patricia Hepburn walks the streets of Harlem looking to save lives.
Hey, honey.
At beauty shops, clothing stores, schools, Hepburn tells women the simple, hard truth. Cancer is not colorblind. For example, black women who are diagnosed with breast cancer are much more likely to die than white women, 32% more likely. White women more likely to survive.
Just give us a call and come up and get a mammogram.
Why would this be true? After all, some of the best cancer care in the world is in African American communities like Harlem. And more top-notch centers are just a subway ride away. So what's going on? Why are blacks dying of cancer at higher rates than whites? Some people believe doctors treat minorities differently than they do white people.
There are physicians, not all, but there are physicians who will see the outside first.
Dr. Jenny Romero says it started when she was a medical resident, seeing firsthand white doctors treating minority patients like second-class citizens.
It was my first rude awakening to the fact that people aren't always going to be treated according to their disease, but rather what their outward appearance was.
And some studies back her up. One found that white doctors were more likely to perceive their black patients as non-compliant with medical orders and less intelligent with a tendency towards substance abuse. And several studies show African Americans are less likely to get certain life-saving medical treatments. So when a black person and a white person has cancer, the white person's more likely to get surgery, chemotherapy, all those treatments.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Why is that? Is that just plain old racism?
I don't think I would use the term that way. If you mean by that somehow in some kind of Ku Klux Klan fashion.
Dr. Alfred Nugent is head of cancer prevention and control at Columbia University Medical Center. He says there are many reasons why blacks get different care than whites, including education and income levels. Patricia Hepburn agrees. When she's out on the street, she hears all sorts of reasons from women about why they won't go in for testing. Sometimes women tell her their husbands won't let a doctor touch their breasts.
The husband is the head of the household, and he says, well, I don't want you to go in, I don't want you to, I don't want anyone to touch you.
And sometimes fatalism plays a role.
God gave me the cancer, so this is what I'm supposed to die from. You know, some women think that way. You can say, well,
Hepburn's trying to change all this. She's training women in the community to talk to their friends and family about breast cancer. And in the meantime, she'll keep knocking on doors, keep trying to save lives.
Hello.
Working towards the day when black women will survive breast cancer just as often as white women do. Elizabeth Cohen, CNN, New York.
When we return, Lindsay Dueringer has our sports report. Stay with us.
Students, the building blocks for life. My name is Les Quick. I graduated in 1975, and in 20 years I was chairman of a member firm of the New York Stock Exchange. What I think Bonaventure really gave me was an ethical core that has been with me all through my business life. St. Bonaventure is a part of who I am.
Coming to Bonaventure was the best decision I've ever made. My name is Robert McDowell. I graduated in 1991 with a degree in finance. I am the assistant to the CFO of a $650 million corporation. What I remember most about St. Bonaventure turned me into the person that I knew I wanted to be, but didn't know how to get there. St. Bonaventure turned me into a leader, someone who could learn and achieve and be able to give back in many ways. Get a life worth sharing.
Welcome back. Lindsay Dueringer joins us with sports. Lindsay?
Thanks, Mike. The Bona men's basketball team traveled to Richmond, Virginia to take on the Spiders on January 27th. The brown and white led the entire game and captured a 61-53 win. Junior Michael Lee scored 19 points, while senior Tyler Ralph notched 14. Senior Paul Williams added a double-double with 10 points and 12 rebounds. However, the Bonnies' celebration was short-lived. The team recorded a 67-61 loss at the hands of the Fordham Rams on Wednesday, January 31st. Lee posted his fifth double-double of the season with 15 points and 10 rebounds. The Bona men took a 54-50 lead with 9:33 left to play as junior Zaron Ferretti hit a jump shot but fell behind after the Rams only allowed 4 points during the remainder of the game. The Bonnies dropped to 6-15 on the season and 3-5 in league play. St. Bonaventure returns to action Saturday, February 3rd at the Riley Center Arena. The Bonnies will host Duquesne at 2 p.m. during this season's homecoming game. The Bonaventure's men's swimming and diving team completed its regular season Thursday evening with a win over the Buffalo Bulls. The men took both relay events and captured a total of 6 first-place finishes. The Bonnies finished the regular season with a 5-5 record and will compete at the Atlantic 10 Conference Championships February 21st through 24th at the Flickinger Aquatic Center in Buffalo. The winningest coach in National Hockey League history, William Scotty Bowman, will visit St. Bonaventure's campus on Wednesday. Bowman has won 9 Stanley Cups with 3 different teams. He coached the Buffalo Sabres during 4 inconsecutive seasons between 1979 and 1986. Journalism professor Paul Whelan and Joe Darling will accompany Bowman. Darling is the executive producer of CBC TV's Hockey Night in Canada. Whelan worked in the NHL with both guests. The trio will host a forum on pro sports and the media. The presentation begins at 12:30 and will be held in the Dresser Auditorium of the Murphy Professional Building. The discussion is free of charge and open to the public. Coming off a 7-1 win Tuesday against Boston, the Buffalo Sabres look for a repeat performance in Beantown.
Goaltenders tonight brought to you by
Marty Braun's one-goal game Tuesday in Buffalo gave him the right to start Thursday in net against Boston. Marco Sturm opened the scoring for Boston as he slid the puck between Braun's pads. The Sabres wouldn't tally until the second period when Chris Drury swung around the net, catching Tim Thomas flat on his back and lifting the puck into the top corner to tie the game at 1.
Around the world for Chris Drury,
Drury would get a second of the night on the power play as he banked the puck off of Boston defenseman, eluding Thomas. Late in the period, Buffalo escapes the surge by the Bruins, and Braun comes up with a big save on a wrist shot by Mark Savard to keep Buffalo in the lead 2-1. Jason Pominville would secure Buffalo the win as he quickly one-timed a Daniel Briere pass off the faceoff, defeating Boston 3-1.
Population has just gone up by one more. 3-1 Buffalo.
The Sabres continue their 3-game road trip in New Jersey on Saturday. Super Bowl Sunday has many St. Bonaventure students eagerly waiting this weekend. On Super Bowl Sunday, millions of Americans gather with family and close friends to celebrate the biggest football game of the year.
At home, we always go to my parents' friend's house, and I hang out with my parents, and here I hang out with my friends.
Bonaventure students celebrate Super Bowl Sunday away from home with some campus traditions.
Everybody's going to make a dip or some sort of food, and we're all going to bring it together and watch it on our TV because we got a big surround system, and it should be a good time.
This year, University Dining Services is hosting a Super Bowl party at the Hickey Dining Hall with all the amenities, including a big screen TV.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stop by. I mean, free food's always good. Can't complain.
What I do with friends, family, and everybody else is I start a football pool, and ends up picking numbers 0 through 9 for each team, and depending on where you are on the pool or on the board and what numbers you get and the score of the game, then actually come out on the positive side of some cash at the end of the game.
Even though I'm away from school, my dad put me in a pool because he knows I love football, and it's just based on the scores. Like, my score is 1 and 0, and he just emailed it to me, so I have a copy of it.
Some students may not care who wins the game, but others are ready to see their favorite team take the field. And that wraps up this week in sports.
And that's all for this week of Sbu TV. I'm Mike Spong.
And I'm Emily Lenihan. For Lindsay Dueringer and all of us here at Sbu TV, we leave you now with footage of Punxsutawney Phil, who early this morning did not see a shadow, which means an early spring this year. Thank you for watching.
So does that mean we're going to have early spring and warmer temperatures?
Yes, it does. We're excited about it.